Now we will see how to formulate the nonlinear PDE, that is the Cauchy problem. That is how we can solve the nonlinear PDE given an initial condition. So for that, first of all, the PDE should satisfy the compatibility condition. The compatibility condition has two conditions. Now, when we are solving the characteristic equation, we are getting x, y, u, p and q. Now, the tangent plane, that is xyu, define as we discussed in the last class, that is xyu define the space curve and pq gives the tangent plane. Now there are so many choices for tangent plane, but we are not choosing tangent plane arbitrarily. Also we are choosing the tangent plane in such a way that it should satisfy two conditions. So the first thing is that the tangent plane should be tangent to the Monge cone, and the second one is that the tangent plane should fit correctly in the Monge cone. So we have these two conditions. That is, if P naught is the point, x naught is naught, y naught is naught, u naught is naught, p naught is naught, q naught is naught, that is the initial value. Then the compatibility condition is f at p naught is equal to 0. That is, p naught should satisfy this equation. And the second condition is this, u naught dash at s naught should be equal to p naught s naught x naught dash plus q naught s naught y naught dash at s naught. So how we are getting the condition B is like this. So we have u equal to u of xy. So du by ds will be du by dx into dx by ds plus du by dy into dy by ds. Now du by dx is p and du by dy is u. So u dash is p x dash q y dash. Now if we evaluate this at the initial point s naught, so u naught dash at s naught is p naught s naught, p naught at s naught x naught dash plus q naught at s naught y naught dash at s naught. So this is the condition that this is the second condition that we have mentioned here, that is the compatibility condition. So this is second condition we are getting like this, and first condition is that f at p naught equal to 0. So if the compatibility conditions are satisfied, we will get the tangent plane in a unique way. We are not taking arbitrary planes. So the planes which satisfy these two conditions, so we can get a unique tangent plane. Now what about our x, y and u? Now they should also be unique, because there may be many solutions to the initial value problems. Now they will be unique if this Jacobian does not vanish, as we said in case of the quasi-linear problem, that is, the transversality condition should be satisfied. So if this Jacobian is not equal to 0, then we say that x, y, u will also be unique. That is given here. We have f at p naught equal to 0, so we can find what is fp at p naught and fq at q naught. Now if we find, so the determinant x naught dash at s naught, y naught dash at s naught, fp at p naught, fq at p naught. If the Jacobian of this, that is the determinant of this, is nothing but x naught dash at s naught, fq p naught minus y naught dash at s naught, fp p naught. So if this condition is not equal to 0, that is, this determinant value is non-zero, then we say that the generalized transversality condition is satisfied. Okay, so generalized transversality condition is satisfied. So the first thing is so the first condition is the compatibility condition. So these two conditions are called the compatibility condition. If in addition the Jacobian does not vanish, then the Cauchy problem. this is a nonlinear PDE with the initial curve gamma, will satisfy, we say that it satisfies the generalized transversality condition at the point P naught, and hence we will get a unique solution for this nonlinear PDE. For this we have an important theorem, theorem 2.19. So you can see the statement. Consider the Cauchy problem A, that is a nonlinear PDE with the initial condition. Assume that the generalized transversality condition B and C holds at P naught. So the transversality condition also holds. Then there exists an epsilon greater than 0 and a unique solution x, y, u, p, q for the Cauchy problem, which is defined for mod s minus s naught plus mod t less than epsilon. Moreover, the parametric representation defines a smooth integral surface u equal to u of xy. So it means that if the compatibility condition and the transversality condition both holds, then we will get a unique solution for the nonlinear PDE in some interval. Okay, also the solution, the integral surface will be smooth also. Now we will see how to prove this theorem. So we consider the characteristic equation that we have already derived. So we have xt equal to fp, yt equal to fq, ut equal to pfp plus qfq, pt equal to minus fx minus pfu, qt equal to minus fy minus qfu. So we mark it as equation number 1. These are the system of ODE, ordinary differential equations. And we have the initial condition from the, if the initial curve is given, we can write x at 0s equal to x naught of s, y at 0s equal to y naught of s, u at 0s equal to u naught of s. So here you have 5 ODs and here we have 3 initial condition. So we must find 2 more initial condition, that is we should get the condition for p and q also. So what is p at 0s and q at 0s? We denote it by p naught and q naught. So we need to find them also. And those can be found from the 2 compatibility condition that we have assumed. So as I told that these 2 conditions give a unique tangent plane. Okay, so we are not taking arbitrary tangent plane. So, and from those conditions, when you give the initial value, you will get the initial value for p and q. So p naught and q naught can be found from this condition. And the second, these are the compatibility condition. So if this holds somewhere, then we can say that the characteristic equation have a full set of initial condition in a neighborhood mod s minus s naught less than delta. So here s naught is our initial point. So in the neighborhood of that, we have a full set of characteristic equation and full set of initial conditions are there. So we have 5 ODEs and 5 initial condition. So we can solve it uniquely, because by the existence and uniqueness theorem, as we discussed in the case of quasi-linear PDE also, this system of ODE will have a unique solution and we can solve them. Okay. Also from equation 1 and 2, that is equation 1 is our characteristic equation and this is a compatibility equation. From these 2 equations, we can show that f of xts, yts, uts, pts, qts is equal to 0, as we did in the case of the quasi-linear PDE. Okay, so that is, it satisfies the PDE. In some neighborhood of s naught and mod t less than epsilon, because t naught, initial value of t is 0. So the neighborhood is mod t less than epsilon, in the neighborhood of t and in the neighborhood of s minus s naught. So we mark it as equation number 4. Now the parametric representation. So when we solve this characteristic curve and we apply the initial condition, first we will get a parametric representation for the integral surface. Now this will define a smooth surface if the mapping from the TS plane to the XY plane can be inverted. That is, as we studied in the case of quasi-linear PDE, such an inversion is possible if the Jacobian is not equal to 0. So here Jacobian is dou xy by dou ts is not equal to 0. We will evaluate this at the point 0 S0. Okay, T0 is 0, S0 is the initial value for S. So this Jacobian is nothing but xt, xs, yt, ys at the point 0 S0. If we expand this, we will see that xt, ys minus xs, yt. But from the set of characteristic equation that we have already derived, we know that xt is fp. This is the first characteristic equation. And yt is fq. So we got fpys minus xs fq. Now this is the transversality condition. So from the we have assumed that transversality condition holds here. Okay, so we got fpys minus xs fq, and we know that this is not equal to 0 because of that transversality condition. So here we got the Jacobian does not vanish, hence we can say that we have constructed a smooth function u. So we have constructed a smooth function u. That's okay. Now we have to show that u is the solution. That is, u must satisfy the given nonlinear PDE. And what is the PDE? The general form is f of xy u ux uy equal to 0. It means that this should satisfy this. So we know the general form is, so it is enough to show that ux is nothing but p of xy, and uy is nothing but q of xy. Okay, so it remains us to show that ux equal to p and uy equal to q. Then it means that the given smooth function that we have constructed is also a solution of the nonlinear PDE. For this, we claim that we claim a and b, and a is ut at ts is equal to pxt plus qyt, and us is equal to pxs plus qys. So first we will show that a and b holds. So a is trivial because what is a? RHS of a is pxt plus qyt, and from the characteristic equations we know from equation number 1 we have xt is fp and yt is fq. So it is pfp plus qfq, and again from equation 1, this is from the third characteristic equation we have this is ut. So ut is equal to pxt plus qyt is trivial. So a is true. Now it remains us to prove B. Now to prove B, we see that when t equal to 0, B holds, and it is true from the compatibility condition. Because when t equal to 0, this is us at 0s is equal to p at 0s, xs at 0s plus q at 0s, ys at 0s. This is nothing but our transversality condition. So it means that equation B is true when t is equal to 0. So it remains us to show that this is true even for t not equal to 0. So we define a new function Rt of s. So Rt of s is equal to us minus pxs minus qys. In this way we are defining, because if r is equal to 0, we will get b. If r is equal to 0, we will get us is equal to pxs plus qys for any ts. Okay, so our aim is to show that r of ts is equal to 0. And we already have r of 0s is equal to 0. How do we have this? because for t equal to 0 the compatibility condition holds. So we have r of ts is this, with r of 0s is 0 we already have. Now we have to prove this. R vanishes identically. For this, first we will we will differentiate R partially with respect to t. So what is R? R is us minus pxs minus qys. Differentiate it partially with respect to t. So us t minus, here we have to use the product rule. So ptxs minus pxst. Again here product rule, minus qyst minus qtys. Now we can see we can group this ust minus pxst minus qyst, we are grouping, minus remaining term ptxx minus qtys. Now this term, first term, can be written as derivative of ut. So the first term can be written as derivative of ut minus pxt minus qt, derivative with respect to s. Okay, but since if we expand this, what we will get? Ust, first term, then minus here product rule, so pxst will be there, one more term will be there, that is psxt. So we have minus psxt here, so to compensate that we have to write plus psxt here. And here the second term is, here we have qyst is there, other term will be qsyt. So minus qsyt will be there, to compensate that we have to write plus qsyt here. And here the remaining terms minus ptxs minus qtys. Now we know that this is our condition A. This is in the claim, this is condition A. So the ut is equal to pxt plus qyt. So that's why we wrote it like this. So this is 0. So the first term is 0. Now the remaining term is ps. xt is nothing but fp. qs, yt is fq. Plus, again we have substituting for pt using equation number 1. So pt is minus fx minus pfu. So minus minus will become plus. And qt is minus fy minus qfu. So we have substituted it. Now we have taken fu outside. So you can see fu we have taken outside. So the remaining terms are pxs plus qys plus the remaining term psfp plus qsfq plus xsfx plus ysfy. Now what we are doing is we are adding and subtracting the term FUUS. So we have FUUS subtracted term, we are combining with this first term. So we will get FU into PXS plus QYS minus US. Plus the plus term is here, plus FUUS. Okay. Now you can see that here FSXS plus FYYS, this is nothing but derivative of f with respect to s, fs of xy upq. Now we have f from equation 4, we have f of xy upq is 0. So fs must be also 0. So this term vanishes. This is fs because when you expand it, you can see first to differentiate with respect to x. So fx, then x with respect to s, xs, plus fy, ys, plus fp, ps, plus fq, qs, and fuus. So all these terms are there. So this is nothing but partial derivative of f with respect to s. And this fs is 0. And what is this? This is our r that we have defined. This term we have defined as r. So we got rt is equal to minus fur. So we have the initial value problem here. Okay. Why it is an initial value problem? Because we got here rt is equal to minus fur and rh0s is equal to 0, that we have already mentioned. So this is like an initial value problem. From this we can directly conclude that r must be 0 because here r is homogeneous. When you apply the initial condition, it is trivial that you will get r as identically 0. Okay, I have explained this here because we have, if you separate the variable, we have dr by r is minus fu dt, integrate, so log r equal to minus integral 0 to t fu dt plus some term log g. So we'll get r is equal to g e raised to minus integral 0 to t fu dt. When you put the initial condition r at 0 is equal to 0, we will get g equal to 0. This implies r is identically 0. So we have, so solving the IVP, we get R of Ts is identically 0. Hence we have shown that B also holds. Now we will show that from A and B holds. Now how can we conclude that Ux equal to P and Uy equal to Q? So A is this equation ut equal to Pxt plus Qyt, and B is Us equal to Pxs plus Qys. Now our equation 1 has a unique solution, and we know that the mapping can be inverted because the Jacobian is not equal to 0. So we'll also get our u, the solution that we have constructed, ut equal to, we have uxxt plus uyyt, and us is uxxs plus uyys. Now when you compare the first two equations, we see that ux must be p and uy must be q. Okay, so from these two equations, we will get that P is equal to Ux, Q equal to Uy. Hence, the constructed surface satisfy the given PDE, and hence the proof of the theorem. Okay.